Hey, it's Michael, and welcome to another podcast episode. Before I get into today's episode, we wanted to make an offer to you. If you go to firmsconsulting.com, you will see a pop-up or you will see a place to add in your email address, or you can register on the Firms Consulting website. If you register onto that website, you get put into an exclusive list. And what you get in that exclusive list is samples of the content we have available to FC insiders. For example, you could get a sample episode of Competitive Strategy with Kevin Coyne. Kevin Coyne is an ex-Mckinsey partner, former worldwide head of strategy, and he had served something like over 25 CEOs on a personal level on a one-to-one basis over his career. Kevin also has a program called How to Become a McKinsey Partner. It's the first time ever a McKinsey partner has gone on record talking about what is actually required to become a partner, and you'll find it's very different from what you think is required. How to Develop Deep Insights, which I have put together, one of our most popular programs, the Electric Car Startup. You will get sample episodes of all of those programs and more if you sign up to this list. So, that said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Strategy Skills Podcast. Today's episode is interesting because we have a very exciting guest with us, and it's a bit of a treat. So today we're going to be speaking to Ram Charan. And for those Indian clients who happen to be listening to this, I'm not referring to the Telugu movie star. So I'm not going to go through Ram Charan's entire biography because it's quite extensive, but I'll just give you a sense of who he is, right? So he went to the Indian Institute of Technology in Varanasi, did his PhD at the Harvard Business School, and he's been writing and working with some of the most quintessential corporate icons in American history and worldwide. He's worked for General Electric, KLM, Bank of America. He's also written many good books, including one with Larry Bossidy, who was the former executive EVP of General Electric and went on to be CEO of Allied Signal. The interesting thing about Ram Charan is that he is one of the hardest working consultants in the world. Always on the road, always traveling. Is a hard guy to get hold of. So when he started doing recent work around Amazon and what has set them apart, I thought it would be a good idea to get him on the phone and talk about some of his recent work. So today we've been able to track him down in a hotel in Montreal, and I'm going to call him through the hotel and we're going to have a conversation about his latest thinking around Amazon and how other companies around the world can use those deep insights that Amazon is deploying to bring it to their own corporations. Now, as a personal note, a lot of the key ideas that Ram talks about, we have used it for the luxury brands business that we are building, that you can watch on firmsconsulting.com. And it has largely changed the way we have set up and manage that business, and the changes in the strategy are quite interesting when we take some of the core ideas that Ram talks about in this interview. So I'm going to call him on the telephone. It's going to be an interesting call because if you know, hotel receptions and lines are not very clear. So let's see what happens. Is that better?
Much better.
Oh, thank the Lord for this. Otherwise we'd have to reschedule or send a carrier pigeon or something through like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
the
so
hotel room is partly line and partly or partly is wireless. That's the reason for it. But you go ahead. Now ask me. It's very clear.
Okay, fantastic.
So ask me a question.
Okay, I'll do a very, very light introduction, almost nothing, because we'll edit it in later. So thank you, Ram, for making yourself available. It's always good to hear from you. I believe you're in Montreal at the moment.
Yes, I'm in Montreal, yes.
Okay, fantastic. So I know you're somewhere in an hotel, and I wanted to thank you for making yourself available. So I've been reading about some of the very interesting work you're doing on Amazon, and there's a lot of interesting stuff, but I want to start off talking about the day one rule, because it seems like something so obvious, but I don't hear many other executives doing it.
Yes. So, Michael, in the 90s, Jack Welch initiated every day is a new day.
Yeah.
And created that inside the company with the idea the world is changing every moment. So every leader must think about what is new, how to position yourself to deal with the new things, to take advantage of new things. Jeff Bezos starts a company around 1995. And he has known the disease large companies have that are successful. And that is, they say, if you don't say day one means the mentality, ownership of a startup, mentality of building something new, mentality of innovation, and not get hooked to the past and fail into the future. So day one sets the mindset, the psychology of management, and forces people to look into the future, discard that is relevant on the past. And that's what day one is.
So day one is a mindset, but why is it that Amazon seems to do it so well, but you don't hear many other executives even speaking about it during their, earnings updates and so on? Do you think it's something unique to Amazon that allows them to be so consistent?
Yeah, yes. His speaking on the investor calls inside the company is unique. It is the first time to convert people's mindset. You have to repeat, to tell the investors that he is doing innovation, that his company looking into the future 10 years out, that he's doing experiments, some of them will fail, that he's thinking those ideas that could materialize 10 years later, because at that time there's not much competition. That gives him an edge.
And do you feel the fact that Bezos has been at the head of Amazon for close to 20 years gives him almost a moral authority to be able to push this agenda versus other CEOs who are really chasing a 2 to 3 year horizon? Do you feel that gives him some kind of advantage?
Well, I think historically you have number of CEOs.
Yes.
Who think longer term and execute also the short term. So his conversation of day one and long term is both for the investors as well as for employees, and showing for a company to last a long time, they must do the long-term thinking and acting and experimenting. At the same time, they must be rigorous in executing their actions.
So when I talk to CEOs and other executives, I see one of the challenges is that they move away from a day one focus because, 2 years into running a business, they've built a successful product or service and they want to spend their time defending it. How does Amazon avoid that tendency to defend what it's built and look forward?
Yeah, it's a very good question. First, he built a business model, money-making model, that except for first year or so, he built his company that generates cash.
Yes.
And so he didn't have to go very much to borrow from outside after the first couple of years. His whole modus operandi is not earnings per share, it is cash per share. Number two.
I want to interrupt you there, Ram. I want to interrupt you because you raise a good point. Are you saying because they are funding their growth from retained earnings, they have the independence to pursue this?
They are funding their growth by the cash they generate every year.
So that gives them the independence to think long term.
Please note, I'm not using the phrase retained earnings.
Sure.
That's accounting concept.
Okay.
This is hard cash.
Hard cash.
2018, he generated $96 billion in cash gross margin. That gave him a chance how to allocate. And by allocating for 25% growth, if you do accounting, he shows very little profit. If you show that how he's building the business, it is one of the 2 or 3 best businesses on planet.
Okay, good. Now that's an important one. The fact that they're cash positive means they can do this.
Those who generate cash and then they allocate wisely and really execute what they decide and invest portion of that cash to build the future, they are the winners.
Fantastic.
Same in Apple, same in Microsoft, same in Facebook, same in Google, same in Alibaba, same in Baidu, same in JD.com. These people generate cash. Then they have a choice how to allocate cash. And portion of that cash goes into building the long term. And the long term means building the business for the future. If you grow at 25% per annum on a base of $250 billion in sales, it requires a lot of cash investment in technology, in AI, in logistics, in warehouses. They are very tangible assets.
Yes.
They produce new customers, new revenues, new ideas.
Okay, that's interesting. So you mentioned that was the first reason. What is the second reason?
For what? Again, short-term, long-term?
Long-term thinking.
Yeah, so second reason is that when you think 10 years out and you see where the demographics will be, which is very easy to predict, and then you see how the habits are changing. You think of ideas that you could experiment now that may take 3-4 years to develop. And if they succeed, you build your long term and you create new source of revenues. Alexa, it took 7 years. Look at the value of it.
Yes.
Kindle, it took 7 years. AWS, look at 7 years. So, but the cash is there to do those experiments. And therefore, you're managing for cash. You're not managing for EPS.
So in this example here, or in this point you're raising, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that Amazon is looking at where the demographics are going, and they are doing experiments.
Demographics is going, new needs coming in.
Got it. And then they are...
Everybody knows, but did not do, that the future is less text, more voice. So he develops Alexa.
Do you think it's only the cash reason why they're able to take these 7-8 year bets?
Able to take what?
A 7-8 year investment, for lack of a better word. I mean, very few companies can do that.
You see, you have other industries.
Yes.
In oil industry, 20 years. In aircraft industry, is minimum 15 years. In drug industry, is minimum 12 years. So why can't it be doing consumer industry?
That is true. It's all about a mindset of thinking about the market differently.
And the management skill.
Yes. So that was the second reason.
He has consistently increased cash earnings per share and good cash earnings per share, and not EPS, which is the accounting fiction. If a company can have somebody or some company or some funding to support long-term cash infusion, they can do that.
Like a startup,
Masayoshi Son of Soft Fund
yes, exactly.
is the supplier of funds to Netflix.
Yeah.
Netflix continues to grow, has long-term bets going on, and so long he continues to fund or they get the funding, they can do that. Uber, same way. There are funders who are willing to do that, but it also backfired on WeWork.
Yes.
But difference in Amazon, that within 2 years, he became a cash generator.
So there are different ways to raise cash to give you the resources to pursue these big goals.
Yes.
But the ideal situation...
Netflix, Uber, all these are long-term bets.
Yes. And are there any other reasons why Amazon is so good at being able to take these long-term bets?
Yes. There are many other reasons. So
what do you think would be the top other reasons?
One is their values.
Yes.
Those values are practical, they are measurable, they are enforced. There are 14 of them.
Yes.
This is not a baloney where you put these things on a plate and hang it.
Yeah. Do you mean they are actually enforced? They're not just nice things on a wall somewhere.
Yeah. Number 2, they raise bar every time they select a new person. There is a person, qualified set of people who interview the new hires, and they have a veto power if the new hire does not seem to be a person who will raise the bar. It's a continuous raising the bar of the company. I know of no other company that does it.
But isn't that something every company says that they do? I mean, I speak to executives all the time, and they tell me they're always hiring the best, they're always raising the bar. So what is different about Amazon?
No. They say they're hiring the best.
Yes.
That's not it. It is you hiring somebody who will come into the company
and then you
raise the bar where he will be going.
Okay.
They're two different things.
Yes. But do you feel that other tech companies are not doing enough of that? What is Amazon doing different about it?
No, the reason is they don't have the bar raiser having the veto power. They have trained bar raisers in interview. No other company has.
What do you mean when you say veto power, with the bar raiser having the veto power?
Yeah. So when a particular person is being interviewed for a job, and all people say, here are 3 candidates to interview, select from, then they select, and then a bar raiser who is qualified, trained, or certified will interview the person. If he thinks this person is not a bar raiser, then he has a veto right not to hire that person.
So one person can stop the entire process.
Hello?
So you're saying one person can stop the entire process if they don't think that person meets the criteria to be a bar raiser. Yes?
Michael, call right back. There's a noise here. Call right back.
Okay, I will. Is this better?
Much better.
Okay, good. I apologize for technology problems. I'm not sure what's causing it. I want to go back to this point. You said that one person can veto the hiring. And is that linked to the seniority of the person?
No. Hang on, Michael. Hang on. It's not one person. They have trained, tested a number of individuals who also are assigned the task to interview the final candidates that other people are recruiting for their units. And when that is happening, each of these people, they're called bar raisers, interview them. And in the interview, if the bar raiser comes to the conclusion, and there is a set way to do it, that this person will not raise the bar of that unit, he can veto it, he does veto it, and that person will not be recruited. That raises the standard.
Okay. So we were talking about what Amazon does differently. Is there anything that Jeff Bezos himself does differently that allows Amazon to operate in such a way?
Say it again.
Is there anything that Jeff Bezos himself does that allows Amazon to be so forward-looking?
Yeah. So the key point is that, number one, it's a great thing Bezos does, and Jack Welch used to do it, that the quarter you are now managing was actually built 2 or 3 years ago. So it's always 2 to 3 years ahead.
Yes.
Because the inputs you make today and execute them will deliver results. It's a totally different mindset.
Yeah, but do you not feel that other executives think that way as well?
I mean, look how many CEOs I talk every week.
Probably 100.
They
But a
don't.
lot. It's a big number. So you're saying
You walk into a company, they will tell you first thing, how is this quarter?
Yes, backward
First
looking.
thing. And then he focuses on 3-4 things only. And is looking at it, where is a big space, big market 10 years out? And what do I need to do to experiment? Then he's not the only one. He has a system inside where people propose ideas.
Yes.
They get actually screened and they are actually funded. And they're very fast cycle time to test those ideas in early stages.
And this is Bezos' thinking. He brought this to Amazon, right? This is his philosophy.
I'm sorry, Mike, say it again.
This is Bezos' philosophy. He brought this to Amazon. This is his thinking.
He did, but don't forget it. His experience before he built Bezos was in a Wall Street firm run by a Columbia professor, David Shaw. He had never been in an industrial company before.
And do you think that was a benefit?
Flipping hamburgers in McDonald's.
Do you think that was a benefit, him having never worked in industry before?
No. Let me continue. And then he recruited people who had been in these old traditional companies. One of them came from Honeywell. He recruited 5 people from GE. These are the people who understood the execution discipline. Bezos brings the algorithms, the digitization, the consumer obsession, and streamlining the processes.
Yeah.
These are the guys who helped Jeff Bezos build the company. They come from ordinary companies who were frustrated in their own companies, who had not used in those days AI and algorithms. He brings a new technology and ride on the wave of internet that changed the world.
So Bezos was pretty good at assembling a group of people who felt their skills were outstanding. Yes. Well, I mean, he's built a phenomenal company. But let's talk about one of the points you raised. You were alluding to innovation. And Amazon has been incredibly successful at constantly innovating and building big businesses. I mean, have you touched on, have you thought about why they're so good at that?
Yes. Number one, they actually allow the persons to be full-time when they're doing an experiment on innovation. It's not part-time.
Okay, so
they can come from anywhere. They have diverse teams. They are evaluated and tolerated for failure. Second, most of the innovation is software-related. Software-related innovation is different than innovating a big gadget, but they do both.
I read somewhere that when Jeff Bezos is trying to create a new business, he puts his top people in and asks them to try to destroy the existing business. Is that true?
This is a lot of cliches. His total focus is consumer.
Yes.
What the consumer could imagine, it has not imagined now, will use. Should we experiment? Will it be a large space to do that? And if that means some business needs to be stopped, they will.
So it's all about the consumer.
The statement you use is for the existing businesses of other companies. Bezos is driven what the consumer will want, what the consumer convenience could come, what the customer had not thought about. But when sees it, it's going to be very convenient, lower price.
So you're saying that if it's good for the customer, he'll shut down a business. But if it's good for the customer...
This is his number one criteria.
Yes.
Even if it is unprofitable initially, because he knows by using data, by using scale, by using productivity, by using AI, he will bring the cost down.
And what does Amazon or Bezos do differently about the way they think about customers? Because a lot of companies talk about putting customers first, but they don't really do it. So how does Amazon do it differently?
Yeah, customer part of Bezos first is that they try to find a pain point. Number 2, they have customer digital data, exchange data. Number 3, he's very much on intuition. that you look at the intuition of your own. What could it be that makes the life of the consumer faster, better, more convenient?
Well, I can think of one thing that I use Amazon. One thing that I've seen they do well is I remember buying something a week ago and it was defected and Amazon gave me an automatic refund without me making any complaints.
Remember, I come from that background in India, a shoe shop.
Yeah.
A cloth shop, 1950s.
Wow.
We had that rule. A customer comes from a village. He bought a sari, some saris I think ladies wear, and somebody said there's a hole in it. We don't even look at it. We say to the guy, pick up your own new one you want. We did that. It's a very old business thing across the globe.
But you don't see it that often, actually. I mean,
this one we record who did it. Does he do it repeatedly? Does he do once? And then we investigate the reason why this is so. And we fix the processes. That's Amazon.
But how does Amazon keep that focus on customer care given how large they are in so many different businesses?
No, it's all algorithms.
So what they've done is they've taken this philosophy and they've coded it into the business.
It's machine learning. It has what they call the tracker. They have the anomalous algorithms that detect these anomalies. They are very old, 100 years old.
So you're saying that when I got that refund, there was no manager approving it. An algorithm picked it up and approved it.
Absolutely. No human touch. Because you see, if you are a regular customer, you did it once in a while, it's okay. If you were doing it repeatedly, then they will begin to worry about you.
Yes, then I'll be flagged by another algorithm as a guy wanting too many refunds, right?
That will come out very quick.
Yes. So in a manner of speaking, Amazon is really efficient because they're taking out the labor out of decision making and they're automating it, right? It increases their productivity.
Correct. Absolutely correct. But they have a lot of labor.
Sure.
Which is still more productive in the warehouses, in the logistics.
Because it's what they're doing with their labor.
In the future.
So they're using labor, but they're using it very efficiently. They're getting a higher return from it.
Correct.
And what you're saying is they're using AI to maximize the return from that labor.
And AI has been here for 100 years.
Yes.
It became feasible because of internet and because of cheap computing power. And he's riding on that wave since 1997 or so. And now he is one of the few companies that is expert user of AI. Machine learning has been here in the long time ago. It was discovered in World War II. Alan Turing used it to decode the coding of the Germans.
Yes. He cracked the Enigma code.
He cracked the code.
So
the fundamentals have been here for 100 years.
So if I'm thinking about this, right, when you think about technology companies, there's always this background noise about them removing labor. But it seems like Amazon is hiring a lot of people, but using AI to get a bigger return than competitors.
Correct. But just to mention, if he didn't have AI, he wouldn't have that large business.
Yes.
He'll be recruiting a zillion people.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is...
think about Walmart 5 years ago.
I'm seeing a lot
3 years ago, they had 2 million people. They recruited 500,000 people a year. Their AI is not as good as the Amazons.
Yes. What I'm seeing is
But they will get there.
I'm seeing a lot of synergies here. For example, Amazon starts collecting a lot of data, which is an input into AI, and it almost feeds each other because the bigger Amazon gets, the better the AI becomes. The better the AI becomes, the more people want to shop. So it's almost like a circle moving faster and faster. Is that a good analogy?
It is. But you don't need any more data for him to do. He's got a ton of data better than anybody else on consumer. There is a diminishing return of use of data at some point.
But they still have a long way to go, right? I mean, Amazon must have, 4%, 5% share of the market?
Online market is more than 50%.
But I mean, worldwide total retail.
Oh yeah, no, that's less than 1.
Yeah, so they've got a long way to go because when you think of Amazon, we think they're big in the
long way
US.
to go to grow, but the data is sufficient right now
to
do all the insights you need.
And is their level of innovation just concentrated in the United States, or is this something they've been able to propagate across all of their different divisions and across the world?
No, they're innovating in India. In India, he's very committed. They're coming with new ideas.
But India's been a pretty tough market for them to crack, right? I mean, what are they doing different?
No, it's not. No, India is a smaller market.
But have they been as successful?
logistics.
Have
India
they?
issues competition. People are converting to online. It's not a tough market. It's only three guys.
And is Amazon doing as well in India as in the United States?
There are different markets, different
Markets.
outcomes in the early stages.
Sure.
Their competition in
So
terms
again,
of criteria.
if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying Amazon is making the investment today to get a return in the future. Is that correct?
Yeah, don't worry about the return in the global equation.
Yeah.
With the excess cash he has, you're putting into a market that will grow over time and it's creating the market.
Yes.
You don't evaluate the ROE on a one wing of an aeroplane.
Sure, yes.
That's the most stupid thing people have.
And what are some of the unique challenges? You mentioned there were different challenges. What are some of the unique challenges that Amazon is facing in India?
Well, the challenges are always there. Competition is coming.
Yes.
In AWS, Microsoft competition is coming. Alibaba is coming. Global going forward. And that's a good thing because competition makes you better.
Yeah.
And the challenges will be in terms of the number of people they're going to have. Would that create some issues from the outside? Will there be an issue about where the government is trying to investigate them for maybe some actions? There may be called antitrust. Those things will come. Politicians may take a crack at it, but the consumer is benefiting and shareholders benefiting.
Yeah, competition is good for consumers.
Yeah.
And do you feel that so Amazon is operating in many areas? Do you think there is a limit to where they can operate, where their values and culture and algorithms will just not be able to operate that far?
No, we have evidence of the last 100 years. Any company that has gone overseas to another country, they adopt to the external values, but you go inside the companies, a large part of their values are the business values that are usually very, very common to most of their operations. Business values are administered, used across. Every single country has the same terminology about business. Would you believe that?
I could believe that, yeah.
In every industry. Yeah. So that creates the vehicle for getting business values largely common across the globe.
And do you
People
feel
values and all that are culturally related.
Okay, that makes sense. But how is Amazon able to be so successful at building so many different multi-billion-dollar businesses? Because most companies build one business and they do everything to protect it.
Stay with that. Michael, any platform business that's obsessed with the customer, you can scale up very fast.
Well, just hold on. So you're calling Amazon a platform business, not a technology business?
It's a platform is the technology.
Platform
but
is
linking
the technology.
with the customers.
Okay, but it's a different way of thinking about it, right?
Say it again?
It's a different way of thinking about a business, calling it a platform versus
not only different way of thinking, but organizing and acting and selecting people. That's what the leaders do. That's what the executives do.
So a platform implies
there are many consultants who think, but they can't do.
Yes, that's true. Too many of them. So when you say platform, that implies competitors could be on that platform.
Yeah, platform business helps you create an ecosystem, get other partners. Platform is modular. Platform has almost infinite capacity, and every incremental item you sell, its cost is close to zero. That's how you scale up. Netflix has scaled up in 7 years.
Yeah, quite incredible. Is this one of the reasons why?
It's not incredible. No, Michael, it's not incredible. It's the ignorance the managers have of the algorithms, of the platforms. They don't know a thing.
You mean the competitors?
If you know the
Netflix,
thing, you can
right?
do that too.
So you're saying that other companies can replicate this if they start thinking about platforms and algorithms and AI?
Absolutely. Look, Walmart is coming back. They got the right person who worked for Amazon, sold his business, who knows it.
Yes,
and they're moving up.
And they're doing
Why
pretty
can't
well.
the others do?
But if everyone moves towards platforms and AI, wouldn't that mean there's competitive parity whereby no one has an advantage there?
The competitive parity or differentiation is the linkage of customer need, customer obsession, ecosystem, and the quality of the platform.
Okay, that's good. That's
These
well
three
said.
things are the reasons combined as differentiators. It's not one thing.
Yes. Is this one of the reasons why Amazon allowed competitors to sell through their store because they saw it as a platform?
No. It is a part of developing money-making model that not only allow you create ecosystem for others to use your platform so that you get more customer data, right customer data, You get more Prime members to come in, which buy much more than the non-Prime members. It is a part of a integrated money-making model and strategy.
Okay. But you don't see many other companies doing
Netflix decided not to do. Disney will do. But Netflix in the early stages did that. Without that, they couldn't succeed.
that. And how is Amazon doing in China? We spoke about India, where you say it's doing pretty good.
The China situation is different because the government hand is strong.
So it's facing other hurdles such as legislative, political.
Yeah, government's hand is strong in managing all that. So you don't compare in China.
I think, is Amazon operating in China at the moment?
I think so, but I don't know enough.
Okay, so it sounds
because
good.
The dominant player is Alibaba.
Let's come back
we know that.
To a point you made about Bezos' ability to hire the right people and put them into the right roles, because that really is probably the toughest role in leadership, finding the right people.
I've written about that zillion times.
Yeah.
And the talent competes, businesses don't.
Can you explain that?
You always compare the talent from one company to the other and how they execute, how they imagine, how they create new business models. That's competition. It's not those 200 PowerPoint presentations.
What do you mean when you say that? Could you elaborate?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that you take simple examples. Ed Woolard, former chairman of DuPont, brought Steve Jobs back single-handedly. It's in my book, Boards That Lead.
Okay.
Full chapter. He made the whole difference. He recruited Tim Cook. Look at the difference. Microsoft, they chose Satya Nadella. Look at the difference.
Yes.
Medtronic, they chose Omar Shlak from GE. Look at the difference. Honeywell, Larry Boston, my co-author, chose David Cote. Look at the difference. In 12 years,
what is
7 times market value.
What is the common thread between all of that?
The common thread is not what people looking for universals. It is the skill in defining what is needed and matching the skill of the right person.
So it could be very different.
It is the fit that matters.
Aha. So
there is no all-round champion.
Perfect.
It's a dream that never realizes.
So what you're saying is there's no template that can be applied at every company. It's very specific to the situation, the company, and the person.
The template is you get all the data. Template is you define very skillfully what is needed at the time. And the template is you figure out what is the individual's raw talent and experience, just as you do in sports. It is very much sports-like. Not everybody is a quarterback.
That makes sense. Well, if this is true, which it is, I'm just wording it that way, that means that Amazon would have executives with very different profiles and skills running different parts of the business because the businesses are so different.
Yeah, their first filter is their 14 values.
Yes.
They test that before they recruit.
So you pass the 14 values and then you have to be a good fit for the situation at hand.
That's it. The key is good fit. You make some mistakes, you correct them.
Yes.
Actually, some companies pay people to leave. So you've been here 1 year. If you don't like it, we'll pay you to leave.
Is that a good practice? It seems like you're getting rid of someone who learned from their mistakes.
Oh, yes. You've got to learn from your mistakes, but you also let the people volunteer to go if they're not happy.
Yeah, it's a culture where it's not bad to leave if you're not happy. It's a little bit like consulting, I suppose.
Consulting is very different.
Yeah.
Here in Amazon, what you do, the results are measured in zillion metrics, and they are transparent. You can't hide.
Yes. So does that mean that Amazon is measuring many things? How does it aggregate all of that up to make a decision?
Now, listen, first is that this is the company that uses multiple times of metrics than any other company in the world, other than Facebook and so on. Second, the machine does the analysis of that metrics.
Yes.
They meet every 2 weeks, 62 pages of metrics. The algorithms do the analysis.
Did you say 62 pages of metrics?
There's going to be more in the future. Don't worry about it.
But the executives are not analyzing...
The algorithms know how to figure out what's happening.
But the executives are not analyzing 62 pages. The algorithms make the decisions, right?
Yeah, so they're isolating what are the discrepancies, where to focus, where to do systematic analysis, look at the whole processes that are delivering good things or bad things. They stand out.
So why has Amazon been so good at this versus companies like oil and gas companies, mining companies, and so on, which have a history of collecting data, wouldn't they have been the birthplace of using
They don't
AI?
have algorithms yet.
And the question
They
is,
don't have AI yet.
why haven't they been open to AI?
Well, that depends on the CEO. They're ignorant. They don't know algorithms. They never got a training. This man has a PhD from Princeton.
So it's Jeff Bezos's forward thinking about seeing the potential of AI.
No, but he has the skills most CEOs don't have.
Yeah,
They're
which is
zero. They have no idea. I teach in the class. They have no idea what an algorithm is, what it can do.
So
They're learning through osmosis.
So Ram, you speak to many CEOs. How many of them are taking AI seriously, as opposed to just lip service?
They're talking about it. They want to find people who could do it.
So
they have some fear. How much does it cost? How will they show return on investment? I have one company where the CEO and the team goes every month to a school to learn algorithms, 1 day a month.
1 day a month.
They're doing well. They're learning together.
When you say they're doing well, it means they are learning and they're building out, they're investing.
Now they're delivering results. They changed the industry. They made some big shifts in the industry. I wish I can tell you the name.
It's okay. I mean,
big industry. Yeah.
So are you
made a big shift.
Are you saying AI is one of the big capabilities all companies needs to master?
They will be able to rent AI very soon.
Yes,
they have to learn what it can do. They don't have to invest a ton of money. I have companies, you can bring them in for $500,000 or less. They can do a lot of good things for you. This company actually has been adding great value to the number 2 guy of one of the largest banks in the world for largely $250,000 a year. People need to learn what can be done.
This sounds very loosely like the debate when mainframes first entered U.S. business, and some companies were making the switch and others were not making the switch. And the ones who didn't make the switch...
Michael, AI is now available to the people like a general purpose gadget. You get the people, work with them, it's not costly. All this is becoming more democratized. It is here. The CEOs need to get off and learn this.
So it's really a question of executive commitment to this. It's not about availability of skills.
Are you learning or are you not?
Mm-hmm.
Be honest about it. If you're not learning, you can't do.
Yeah.
You got to learn the new technology. You got to learn the new tools. You got to execute those tools. Every decision that can be digitized will be digitized. Do you know how it can be done? If you know, fantastic. If you don't know, you will be left behind.
One thing I really like about this discussion, Ram, and I must say I really like this because whenever you read about Amazon, people talk about AI, but they don't really talk about how AI works and why it's given Amazon this difference in terms of making decisions and so on. And I hope that many people don't just talk about AI because it's interesting to talk about it, but really figure out how it can help their businesses, which will be different from the way it helps Amazon, of course.
Correct. Absolutely. It's not just AI. AI is a combination of algorithms.
Yes.
Machine learning is a combination of algorithms. So you say, I see an opportunity, market is space. It's not being solved right now. With the use of AI, what I can do. That is Tesla.
Yeah.
That's Netflix. Now Disney is catching up. They got day 1, 10 million customers signed up. Where the hell were they before?
Yeah. Yes, where were they before? Financial services would seem an obvious place to apply Amazon's thinking. Is Amazon...
It's happening.
They are looking at financial services.
It's happening, but it's very slow.
It will take time. Okay, so financial services, we're seeing the
rise. No, they wake up late. But they're happening. They begin to move.
Is Amazon making a play for financial services? Is that something that's...
It is, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm assuming they're going to bring their old capability in AI and so on to do it.
They will. They're in the healthcare, they're in entertainment, they are in financial services. Absolutely they are.
So they found this different way of running their business that's given them an edge and they continue to develop it. And as you said...
No. They are obsessed with consumer. Consumer uses loans. Why not us? Consumer uses medicines and distribute. Why not us? We can bring cheaper price, better usage, lower loan losses.
But isn't that a danger?
exactly that thinking. It's not different business. Always were different businesses. Not anymore.
But isn't there a danger, Ram? I mean, there could be a danger of them expanding into too many things. Is that a danger that they think about?
Everything is dangerous and risks.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Doing nothing is also dangerous.
There's a bigger risk.
That's true.
But
Yes,
they
and if the
experiment
opportunity
and
is
withdraw when they fail.
yeah, and if the opportunity is there and they can make it work and it's a large enough business, then they should do it.
Yeah. But as I said, there are 18 failures. They experiment, they cut them, they launch them, they fail, they withdraw. It's normal for them.
Well, they should be failing because if you're not failing, you're not trying, right?
That's right.
If everything you launch works, then you probably launched too late, in my opinion.
Not only that, you're not exploring big opportunities.
Yes, that's right. But let's think about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're the size of Amazon, you must be pursuing every new venture must be a multi-billion-dollar business, which means some of your failures are going to be multi-billion-dollar
not
failures.
multi-billion. He thinks trillion.
Okay, multi-trillion. That means some of your failures
Yes.
are going to be really
Yes,
big.
exactly. Because if you look at the internet, through the internet, the total GDP of the world is 100 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
I only want 1 trillion. Why not me?
I only want 1 trillion, just 1 trillion. How do you get your executives comfortable with failing on that scale?
No, there is no such thing as comfortable. Everything is risks. Everything is fear. You got to say, how can they experiment? How do they do the pilot?
How can they
Do they have the
experiment on
right
that
people?
scale?
Do they have the right people?
And what happens to the executives who fail on some pilot that cost hundreds of millions? I mean, are they promoted?
The pilots go through stages.
Yeah.
Stage 1 doesn't cost hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the wrong notion.
Yeah.
We create prototypes on the computer first. A 4-person team for 1 year, 6 months, 3 months. That cost is very little.
Well, think about the Fire device. I don't know the numbers. You probably know them better than I do. But that wasn't a very cheap venture, right?
Say it again, which one?
The Fire device. They had these Fire tablets.
Yeah, I don't know that, but the time he's doing it,
Yeah.
designing is not costly.
Yes.
Manufacturing would be, which they don't manufacture, gets manufactured elsewhere.
Yeah.
Will be a variable cost.
And I think it's fair to say that if something fails, they could probably take something from it to build something in the future from it, like.
Always. They will have new technology tested, new consumer experience tested.
Well, let's build on that thought, right? AI came from somewhere within Amazon. Did it come
Say it
from
again?
something that failed before?
Say it again.
So the AI technology that Amazon is now using very successfully, did it develop from some other pilots that failed?
No, it's a misnomer. Michael, there is no such thing as wrong AI technology. AI technology is a combination of algorithms, and you practice with the data until this begins to match.
I wasn't saying
And
wrong.
if you fail to match it, you try again.
Now, what I'm saying, the point I'm making is not about wrong AI technologies. I'm saying that Amazon failed at certain things in the past. Did any of
Yeah,
those?
because the consumer didn't like it.
Yes. Did any of those failures help develop AI to where it is today? Like.
The algorithms in AI have self-learning.
Yeah.
That's how it's designed. Machine learning, deep learning is self-learning. The mystery is out.
The mystery is out. Well, if it's out, it's always
Ignorance is high, mystery is out.
So the question is, why don't more companies do more with AI?
Listen, my friend, it's going to happen. Companies are being hurt badly.
Yeah.
The best example in retail. You can see why those guys are not surviving. Malls are closing.
Yeah.
Companies are closing stores. You see that alive.
So you're saying that as companies experience more pain, well, some of them, they'll be forced to embrace AI because they need it to serve customers better.
And more than that. So those who are not doing it, they're going to be left behind. And at some point, their future may be threatened.
Yeah. There's nothing like the fear of failure to motivate an executive.
And you will see in a couple of years' time, activist shareholders will be knocking the door.
Yeah. Well, it's
Because the
already
market
happening,
value will
right?
decline.
And we've seen companies that haven't invested in AI fall behind in many industries.
In retail industry, is a ton of them.
Do you feel that
In
in retail?
entertainment, is ton of them.
Yeah.
In technology for automobiles, is ton of them. Parts manufacturers. 99% of the companies are behind. Some are gradually moving.
You say 99%, I mean, that's across all sectors or just retail? It sounds like all sectors to me.
Correct. They're doing fiddling here, fiddling there. Very few standing out.
Yeah. It'd be
If you
surprising
look
to
at
me
a
that
world, 100,000 companies, you can't name 1,000 companies that are there.
it's surprising to me that shareholders are not pushing companies to do more about it.
They are talking in their own way, but the most shareholders are quarterly shareholders.
Yes, they're not willing to make the investment to serve
Yeah, and
customers.
they're institutional shareholders now.
Yeah.
They're trying to push for long term, but they themselves don't know either of those.
So it's an education. It sounds to me like, the big takeout of this is if you're a CEO, if you're an executive, or you in a position to influence a company, obviously there's many interesting things and very useful things Amazon is doing, but you got to really get your head around AI first, or at least start there.
Yeah, I would just say we should talk less about the word AI.
Yeah.
It is the set of algorithms that is machine learning, deep learning, statistical modeling.
So it's about using algorithms to serve customers better.
This is it. Algorithms are 200 years old. One is from 1763.
Yeah.
And they are freely available. They're democratized.
It's just a question of using it and building it into the culture of the company.
No, first, before they use, they got to know what they can do. They got to learn what they are.
Do you feel that or do you think the CEOs today can make that leap, or is it a situation where new leadership?
It's up to the individual. It's up to the individual. There's nothing that somebody will say they can't learn. They can learn. They don't have to program.
Yeah, that's true.
They need to learn the logic, learn to see what it can be done, who would do it with them.
And then bring in the people to do it and put in the funding.
Absolutely. That's what the builders do. That's what the CEOs do. They know they can't do everything, but they need to learn what has to be done.
When I thought I'd be talking to you about Amazon, I did not think that algorithms would be 90% of this discussion. But the more we talk about it, the more central it is to the conversation.
Yeah, but the key is connecting customer obsession, customer need, customer imagination, customer value with the platform, with the algorithms.
Yes, it's about
the data.
It's about using the algorithms to serve your customers better, to foresee what they need.
No, go the other way. The other way. Imagining what the customer will need, what will make customers' lives better, cheaper, and finding algorithms to serve it. Business model, business notion of Amazon is customer first. Very old business principle of thousands of years. A corner store knows the customers by heart. Why can't we know in large companies?
So Amazon is thinking about what does the customer want, and they figure out what
it should want.
What it should want, and they try to predict what the customer wants and needs, and then they figure out what can they do with the algorithm to meet that need.
Exactly. How do we deliver it?
So they're not going there and analyzing the algorithms and looking for clues. They are figuring out what customers want or should want, and then they're working towards that.
Yeah, but also intuition. They use, imagine, what will be, I never thought you need a 1-hour delivery in New York.
Yeah.
He thinks they do.
I'm really glad that someone thought we need 1-hour delivery. I'm happy with that idea. It's interesting, right? Because 1-hour delivery today seems so obvious to us.
They look obvious after the fact.
But it wasn't obvious 7-8 years ago when Jeff Bezos was thinking about these things.
No, he made it obvious by experimenting.
Yes.
And killing some and keeping some. He didn't just do that. He does experimentation.
Ram, I know that you're pressed for time, so let's maybe. I know you've got another call, I think, scheduled or another meeting.
Yeah.
In the last sort of few minutes, is there anything that you want to leave with the audience? If there is one thing you wanted them to take out of, learning from what Amazon is doing, what would that be?
I like everyone who uses Amazon or see Amazon as a competition. Learn how to obsess about the customer need. Learn what algorithms, machine learning, deep learning platforms can do to serve it better, and select the right people to help you make a money-making business that is digitized based.
Well said. I must say I have some new appreciation for Amazon after this call, Ram.
Yeah.
Ram, it was
a very good conversation.
It was
a very good conversation. See how the editing comes out.
It was an absolute delight to speak to you. I really enjoyed it. It was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for making time in Montreal.
Likewise.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. And that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed doing the episode. Finally, I want you to remember that the only way to get access to our special offers, the only way to get our special pricing, and the only way to get samples of our content is to join the list on firmsconsulting.com. It's the only way also to get access to our unique advanced content that we make available to insiders. So if you want to get a sneak peek of things, test it out, see what's in there, this is the place to go. And finally, I want to thank you again for making us one of the largest podcast channels around the world for careers and for the 2 million downloads and counting.